uppercut, uppercut, sonic boom. Well, hello there, humans of YouTube. Humans of PubG Mobile who watch YouTube. I'm Bushka, and today's video is about hitboxes in the game PubG Mobile. If you like getting the most out of your PubG Mobile gameplay, this is an important video that you need to take note of. And it's about some of the issues that are currently going on with hitboxes that a lot of people don't realize and which I haven't really mentioned or given a lot of airplay, but they're big and they're going to influence the guns you use in the future. I guarantee it. If you watch this video, it's going to have an impact on your gameplay. Hitboxes are basically the overlay on the player character, which denotes how much damage you're going to do when you hit them. Headshots, for instance, if you hit an AR headshot, it's like a 2.3x multiplier on your base damage. And if you do it with a SMG, it's like a 1.8 times multiplier on your base damage when you hit a headshot. And if you hit a limb shot, on certain guns like this gun, the AKM, if you're hitting a limb shot, it's 32.4 damage. Whereas if you hit into like a level 3 vest, it's 21 damage. So you want to hit more limb shots, right? Okay. That's the simplistic way of talking about this. The problem is that hitboxes aren't working correctly at the moment. And I don't know how long this has been going on. There have been issues in the past which they've remedied where damage hasn't been registering correctly. But I'll slow this down so you can see this is testing on the range. So when a target is wearing a vest and you shoot them in the arm with the DP28, they're taking 21 damage. That's because the damage is actually going to the vest. It's not getting limb shot damage. You can see I shoot the leg, 32. I shoot the arm, 21. And the vest is disappearing because I'm actually clearing the vest, which is not good because one of the big selling points of the DP28 is limb damage. In fact, enhanced limb damage. And let's have a look at this. I'm going to slow this down for you. I tested on live. Of course I tested on live. That's an arm. It's clearly an arm. I'm going to shoot it and watch on the right. See how it damages the vest? It damages the vest and it does the same damage as you do to a vest, 21, which is not good. And if you shoot the leg, here comes the 32. And no damage to the vest, which is even more important. So this can be pretty frustrating. I'm going to show you some other interesting stuff, which I think is important for you to see. And this is the cause of one of the most frustrating things in the game. See, that's the gun. That is clearly the gun, okay? I'm going to shoot the gun. Limb damage. That's a limb damage right there. You can see I hit for 18. That's the M416's limb damage. And you can see where I was aiming. I was not aiming at the hands. I was not aiming at the head. I was aiming at the weapon itself. And this is the cause of those infuriating limb damage shots when you're playing a bolt action sniper rifle. And we're going to talk more about this because this really does play in to the meta of the game. If you shoot, I'll show you, we'll take another example here. We'll shoot in a little bit of a different location. We're going to shoot the very, very tip, the end of the gun, and you'll see that came up as a headshot. So this can be frustrating, and it's very, very weird. And it's different on the range. On the range, you can get all kinds of weird results. You can see I'm shooting next to the target. I'm shooting above and to the left of the target, and I'm getting headshots. And these range dummies have an oversize. They really do. They have an oversized hitbox model. But you're going to see a weird thing here. I'm testing this with my good mate Stevo. And where do you think that is going to hit? Because it's pointing into space. It's a chest shot. It's a chest shot. That is clearly not shooting at the target. All of these shots that I'm hitting here, these are limb shots. All of them are doing damage to the chest. Even when the target is running and in motion, they're doing damage to the chest. They're taking the vest. These, on the other hand, when the target has the gun out, are doing damage to the limb. Even when I hit in front of the vest, they're doing limb shot damage, as long as the gun is out. But as soon as Steve puts his gun away again and lies down with, just prone, I shoot him in the arm and that damages his chest. Okay? I can shoot through the scope, no damage. I can shoot the end of the gun, no damage. I shoot the meat of the gun, That's a limb shot. Now, let's talk a little bit about what this actually means to your gameplay. Oh, the good old backpack is a hitbox. Yes. When they're standing up, you can hit the backpack. Now, let me reiterate that the big issue here is that when a target doesn't have a weapon drawn, they basically have their entire torso, including their arms, is a vest shot. And this can be manipulated really easily. If you're in final circle and you're crawling around and you don't know where a target is and you put your gun away, but you know the enemy has like a DP28 and an AK, then you know if you put your gun away that the most damage you can take from a random spray, if it's not a headshot, is 21. But if you have your gun out while you're crawling around, you can take 30% more damage, 32.4 damage. That's a lot more damage, okay? So it really discriminates against those weapons. It also discriminates to a lesser degree against people running SMGs, because if you're running an SMG and you're in CQC combat, generally everyone's going to have their gun out. If you're running against people at range, well, that's a different story, okay? It is also interesting that you can manipulate this versus sniper rifles. If you're in a level 1 vest and you're running around versus an AMR or an AWM, they will one-shot a level 1 vest. So pull your gun out when you're running, because if they hit your limb, they're not going to one-shot you. And that's, to me, a really nasty manipulation of game mechanics. If they get a legitimate shot and you've got your arms next to you and you're wearing a level 1 vest, they're going to kill you, okay? They will literally just kill you. And that's crazy to me. That should be decided by whether or not you've got your gun drawn, I think anyway. And as someone who does a lot of sniping, this is important to me. But even more so, this is one of the reasons why lately I've always switched to the Graza rather than the AKM, because I don't like the idea that what I feel is the AKM's biggest advantage, that incredible high value limb shot or explosive damage, as PubG Mobile like to call it, is negated. It's something that's come up before, by the way. I've done a video on this previously where limb shot damage didn't count from basically it was only limb shot damage if it was halfway down the forearm to the hands. And now we're in a situation where it's not limb shot damage all over. I would also like to say, testing this and seeing the ridiculousness of hitting someone's weapon and getting a limb shot and not having it go through to hit behind the weapon is a bit frustrating. In PC, and I'd always just assumed that they'd transferred over the mechanic. In PC, if you hit someone's hand and it goes through to the head area, the trajectory of the round, it will clear their head. It will take the target right out. In mobile, if you hit someone's hand and the bullet is on the way through to the head, they do limb shot damage, which is ludicrous when you've got a gun like the AWM or the AMR that will actually one-shot a level 3 steel helmet, but if it hits your hand, you're only taking a minimal amount of damage. I hope this has been useful and that this has opened your eyes up a little bit to some things that you can do in game to maybe manipulate once you know what the enemy is running. Don't get me wrong. There's still guns like this DP28 is absolutely filthy for me. And I still run it and I still squeeze with it and do really, really well. But one of the big selling factors about the DP28 is that it has explosive limb shot damage of 32 instead of, the 21 that you'd expect. And guns like the M416 with 18 damage to limbs, they actually do better hitting vests than they do hitting limbs. So, it's almost like an age-old story where the M416 just, everything falls in its favor. I know, sour grapes and all that, but I do believe that should be remedied. And hopefully, at some point in the very near future, this does get changed or fixed, because it is quite disconcerting to have the damage models and the limb shot models not render correctly. It also does put the kibosh on another age-old myth that the female player models benefit from this, when it's absolutely clear that the damage models and their hitboxes extend ever so slightly out past the player models. So there is no advantage. Anyway, I'm Bushka. Look after yourselves. Like, subscribe, and just have a good time. Be nice to each other. Bye for now.